You guys, the madman did it. That's right, we are revisiting the Slyboy YouTube situation where he has been pretty much going head to head with not only YouTube, but one of the most vile predators slash creeps that I have ever seen. This whole story is getting insane, and I want to say first things first, this video that I'm reacting to, you need to go watch it in full. Outside of this, whether you want to watch it before or after this video, regardless, this is something that I think has never happened on YouTube before. So I'm going to quickly recap what happened in our last video, just so you have some context. Basically, he has been targeted by a group of these maps, which again, you can find out what that means right here. Yeah, apparently it's a thing people want to call themselves in order to try to gain some sort of legitimacy to their sick perversions, but no, none of us are actually recognizing them as human, let alone, you know, an organization or a movement. But nevertheless, he's been targeted by these people who keep mass reporting every YouTube video of his, where he makes videos about them and their disgusting acts, in particular one of them named Katie Cruz, which is actually just a pseudonym we find out in this video, but regardless, he has been going back and forth with them and said flat out, Katie, if you get my videos taken down again, I'm gonna come to your hometown, I'm gonna make a, not life-size, a massive print of your face and show it to all these people in your very small town to just show what a absolute degenerate creep you actually are. That's right, everybody in your community is gonna know how freaky and frankly just disgusting you are. Freaky isn't even a word because that, you know, kind of implies that it's within this realm of like what should be done. No. You are just a inherently terrible person who is so twisted in the head that I don't even need to get into it. But basically, he actually did it. After receiving what were pretty much thinly veiled death threats from Katie Cruz in his last video, he went through and bought a bulletproof vest, which you can see him rocking right here. That's right, he had to pretty much crowdfund this from his YouTube views, which is ridiculous that you have to use your YouTube money that you earned to buy yourself a bulletproof vest to make insane videos once again, just to, you know, further expose somebody who has somehow not had the law come down on them despite doing these terribly heinous acts. Now, my intent in covering or reacting to this video is to once again, as I stated in the first episode, make this more public. Not that I really even have as much reach as this guy, as thankfully he has pretty much blown up as a result of this video series, but I still feel extremely strong about the fact that, you know, YouTube should not be allowing this sort of bullshit on their website where people can get their friends together and mass report your videos and get them removed, especially when those exact people are actual pedophiles that should be in jail, let alone not on the internet at all. And I'm not going to react to this full video. The portion we're going to be reacting to today is, I think, incredibly poignant, sad, and flat out bleak. But it needs to be covered. It needs to be reacted to. I have some stuff to say about this, and I'm gonna give a heads up. Obviously, if you clicked on this video and you heard my spiel so far, you know we're gonna be covering some pretty dark topics here, but this gets very grim. So the person you're about to meet is the mother of a child that is written about extensively on this blog that Katie Cruz, this absolute creep, this map, has created and continued to post on over the years. Now, I'm a little bit confused over whether or not this blog was made specifically to tell the story of how this, you know, child, but needless to say, it's become a large portion of this blog. I think this blog originally started as a way to gain awareness for maps and like to have this sort of safe space for them on the internet, which, why the fuck does that exist? But anyways, let's get into this interview. I want to hear what this woman has to say about this whole situation, what she thinks is happening with the whole law, you know, not being imposed on Katie here. Somehow Katie has gotten away with these crimes for years and is openly bragging about it on the internet. That is the sickest part to me, but without any further ado, let's get right on into it.
So you can imagine for a family like Lucy's finding out that there's an open in your very small town who is actively stalking your daughter. What do you do in that situation?
And yeah, he frames that perfectly. Like, I can't even imagine how helpless you would feel knowing that this happened to your family. Granted, thankfully, they're going to get into it. I don't think anything physically ever happened before they found out what type of person Katie is. But the fact that it was, you know, still a targeted effort to get close to their child and then blogged about is just insane. And again, the law has done nothing about it. So a YouTuber, Slyboy, the GOAT, had to step in and get this sort of awareness going again because nobody else seems to care about this case, and this person, Katie, is able to just exist in their small hometown without any repercussions, which is absolutely insane to me.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm Lucy's mom.
Thank you for coming out. You know an individual whose legal name is that correct?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. So you went to high school, right?
Yeah, I've known him since I was about 16 or 17 after I started dating my husband.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it seems this is really one of those small town living situations where like everybody somehow knows each other. And I don't know if it makes it even creepier in my mind that this person met her while they were in high school. They grew up together. She's going to get into it. It sounds like there was some sort of like pity for this person, Katie, because obviously there was a lot messed up in her brain at the time. And just to know where this story ends up with her then targeting this poor woman's child to try to them is just, it's heart-wrenching. And I'm so proud of this mom for having the bravery to speak up for this. That's one thing I definitely want to get out there before we continue.
Okay. So how did that relationship get to here?
Well, like I said, I met him when I was, I use the term him.
I'm not here to, you've probably seen my channel, like I'm like understanding of like pronouns and stuff like that, but like I'm not here to tell a victim what pronouns to use, you know what I'm saying? So like you speak,
Okay.
you know, whatever's true to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I met him when I was about 16 or 17 years old. My husband became friends with him really just out of pity. He was getting picked on quite a bit. And him and another friend of his took him under their wing just because he was a weird outcast, you know, and they genuinely felt bad because they've been there, done that too.
So it sounds like the only reason Katie even knew about these people's existence was they actually felt pity for Katie, or we don't really know their dead name at this point in the interview, because Slyboy goes over the fact that he can't even name Katie's original legal name because that will somehow help YouTube's case for defamation for taking the video down, which has been one of the main reasons that his videos have been consistently taken down. I mean, seriously, a YouTuber of this size should not have to have an archive army of people downloading every video of his, but it's been having to happen because YouTube is just deleting their shit left and right, all for the sake of protecting these creeps. That's the most disgusting part that just pisses me off to no end.
And eventually over the course of time, some things were inappropriately mentioned, like, and you know, teenage boys, I thought for a long time it was just a joke. Just something teenage boys.
Yeah, even
you know?
the edgiest weirdos
just
don't joke about this shit.
Gaming, you know,
Right.
But he would say stuff about like liking teenage girls. I shrugged it off for a long time until I had my daughter, my first daughter, who is Lucy. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, I kind of need to keep an eye on this. Maybe it wasn't a joke.
And of course, we're not here to, you know, victim blame or anything, but for me as a parent, if I knew that there was ever this talk from this person, already I would not have had a relationship with them. I can understand the thought process of maybe this is some like autistic weirdo and this is kind of, you know, a joke that they're trying to make to sound edgy because they don't really know how to communicate and they're just trying to be funny, whatever you might think. I really think there's no excuse for it. I'm sorry. If you know how to say the words and form them into that sentence, you can be held accountable for saying that fucked up sentence or whatever jokes Katie might have been making at the time. Regardless though, after I've known that, and especially when I've had a kid, I would not still be around that person, but of course we all have, you know, times with cloudy judgment, I guess, but at least that's how you know this lady's being honest in this interview. She is showing that clearly she made some missteps along the way without, you know, really considering the weight of these words that Katie had been saying. Even though they have been passed off as jokes, still, this is somebody who is deeply, darkly twisted. That was a terrible sentence. Deeply, deeply twisted and dark within their brain, and that's just somebody you don't want to have around you. Even if you do feel pity for them, you could keep them at a distance and not let them so close into your life where some true damage has clearly been done. But that's my 2 cents. Again, nobody's perfect. I'm not trying to put any shade on this mom. I'm glad she's being honest in this interview.
Because shortly after my daughter was born, he went to California and became legally a woman and changed his name. And that raised a huge red flag because nowhere there was, I don't know, 7 to 8 years of friendship at that point. Nowhere in any sort was there any signs of, oh, I don't feel like a man. I feel like a woman, you know, just the common signs you see.
So it was just that.
It was very sudden, very snap of the fingers, and I get a phone call, oh, hey, I'm legally a woman now. And I was the first person he told because I too am of the LGBTQ community. And after that, I lost all sort of respect and kept a very close eye for a long time after that. wanting to remain friends with them just because of the longevity of the friendship and just feeling bad. And we knew there was some sort of like mental illness.
Now, before you go try to cancel this lady, I think she's talking about the fact that, you know, clearly there's usually signs, or at least some, you know, things leading up to somebody transitioning where you could tell they've been uncomfortable in their bodies, yada, yada, whatever might be happening. There's usually some telltale signs, especially if you're paying attention and know what to look for. But with this situation, this mom has explained she kind of feels it was made for nefarious reasons. I mean, there's a lot of reasons I could think of. I know children in general are going to be a lot more receptive and, you know, open towards people who feel motherly in a way, or like, you know, are female. Maybe you might not agree with that, but I feel like it's almost always the case. I was that way. I was so skittish around any men if I was like a toddler. I don't know why. I was just like, you're all giants and terrifying. But as soon as you're like my mom or grandma, I was chilling. That was always who I had to go to in times of distress. And sadly, I think that could be an angle here. Again, we can't really get into the mind of anybody here, but I think that's what she's trying to portray. Clearly, she's not trying to be bigoted here. She's just saying it how it is. She doesn't believe it was for the most pure of intents of, you know, how somebody usually goes through the process, because they literally can't exist in their own skin without feeling like everything is wrong.
You know, there's just something not right, and we genuinely felt bad and wanted to be there. And then Lucy started getting a little bit older, about 6 or 7 years old.
Bruh.
Started asking, like, we would go to a mutual friend's house and do sober karaoke and stuff like that. And he would start asking Lucy for hugs, like a grandma would, like very inappropriate for someone even of a friendship status, and sitting on lap. And I would be like, hey, Lucy, come here, and distract her.
Yeah.
And not have her realize what's going on in the moment. But after that event at my friend's house, we totally, completely cut contact off.
All I gotta say is thank God this woman trusted her instincts in that moment. Granted, I still would not have allowed access at all after knowing that this person is like mentally not all there and has made these jokes in the past. But enough time had passed. She had the difficulty of her husband wanting to continue the friendship out of guilt. You find that happens a lot in friendships that just aren't working out, but you feel bad for the person, so you keep talking to him. I know we've all been there. This is just heartbreaking, and this was extensively blogged about in these blog posts. They're about to get into this. This was kind of like the start of this storytelling journey that, you know, Katie Cruz decided to go on, talking about this night that she fell in love at karaoke night with, again, somebody who is, and I'm sorry I made the 6-7 hand signals there, but, you know, around that age, I couldn't help myself. I'm literally a toddler in my brain at this point. It's TikTok's fault. It's melted my brain. I'm even on the 41 train, like, and I know that's already gonna be, you know, I'm just trying to maintain my like non-unk status as long as possible, but that's a side tangent. Let's keep going.
Okay.
Well, I didn't even.
What's the specific event that you're referring to?
The sober karaoke that we were having at my friend's house, and he was just acting super strange.
That's so
wanting
creepy.
to be super close to Lucy. And it kind of gradually got very intense. It wasn't like a overnight thing, like over a few months after he came back from California. It got very gradually intense.
Up until the karaoke night.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
Have you read, I mean, I know this is would probably be like nightmare literature for you, but have you read anything on blog?
Yeah, I've read the entirety.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've read the entirety of it.
Yeah.
And
yo, I told you guys it was gonna get heavy in this video. I literally could not put myself in this woman's shoes at this point. I mean, I don't have a child. I never plan to have a child, but I can still understand and empathize with her to some degree. And it's already painful enough to try to think of being in her shoes. So I know actually being there would be so much worse. But just imagine wanting the safety of your child to be, you know, of utmost importance. And something like this happens, and then not only does it happen and you feel guilty about it, about, you know, them even being close to your kid, but then it turns into this weird fantasy blog post or series of blog posts. I shouldn't say it's one individual post. This has been literally like chronicled over years of delusion from Katie, just talking about this karaoke night and how that sparked this huge romance. It's literally sickening. I don't recommend you go and try to find it, but Slyboy, again, to shout out his channel even more, has tons of videos breaking down this stuff, and sadly some of them have been archived by other people, but you can find all that information without actually going to this godforsaken blog that I don't get how it exists on the surface web. It literally sounds like some deep web, like Tor browser, .onion site type shit that you would watch on some scary YouTube iceberg. It just doesn't feel real. And to see this lady having to go through this and reeling from the effects of this stalking, this cyber stalking that her daughter has faced from this insane person, it's just, it's so sad, and it feels a little bit antagonistic in a way. It definitely is, actually. The fact that this person is like, I got away with this, and now I'm gonna torment you in the world even more by like talking about it and bragging about it and how awesome it was for me. How the hell does this exist? I can't.
It makes it sound like that we allowed this, that it was just something I shoved under the rug. No, that was not the case at all. I just chose not to speak about it, which it was probably, I should have spoke about it in the time. I should have told him how I felt for Lucy's safety. If I would have known that this sick blog was going to be a result of that. I tried not to be confrontational, and it bit me in the ass. And
holy shit, talk about resonating with something, like extremely. I am that way too. I am to a fault so non-confrontational. I could order a steak as like my one big birthday meal for the year, pay $100 for a beautiful tomahawk, ask for it medium rare. That's how little I go out and order steaks. Ask for it medium rare. You could hand me a charcoal brick, and I will still awkwardly try to find a way to rationalize the fact that the chef has had a bad day and maybe he was distracted, and I don't want to, cause too much of a hubbub of making my expensive steak again. Regardless, that was a long story to show that I too am to a fault so non-confrontational that it bites me in the ass. And I can't imagine having it, in a situation like this where the stakes are so high. This is your kid you're talking about. I know she feels so guilty. I feel it through the screen. I really believe this mom has tried to do the best and just didn't know what to do and continues to not know what to do, is just powerless in this situation. And yes, she has gone to the police and they've done nothing about it.
And no, I was very aware of what was going on and I did not allow it.
Understood.
Yeah.
By my calculations, the first blog entry about Lucy, she would have been 6 or 7 years old. And then that leads up to the karaoke night, which was referenced on her blog. I believe she said something like she felt like that night there was like a really special connection between her and Lucy. She was like singing a love song or something.
What the fuck?
It's just very clear what was going on to you.
That's all made up in his mind.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
Lucy never... When I was confronted about it by Sierra years later, immediately after I got off the phone with Sierra, I talked to Lucy. And I'm like, did anything happen?
Yeah.
Can you remember? You need to tell me. And she could barely remember who was.
That's good.
So whatever existed is only in his mind.
And yeah, you want to talk about delusions of grandeur here. Holy shit, is Katie Cruz as a person so unwell. And it's so clear to see, I don't really need to say that, it's kind of stating the obvious, but that's what also makes it so much more terrifying. The fact that Slyboy is dealing with somebody who is like this. I'm not trying to make this into some sort of like superhero story, but it's literally like you're going against the Joker, bro. Like, this is somebody who has nothing to lose, who is living a life of delusion and in echo chambers that they have created on the internet that are emboldening them and making them feel like they're in the right here, and also has talked about open carrying, all that crazy stuff. I just still can't believe that this video exists. I'm gonna leave the reaction at that. I want you to go check out the rest of Slyboy's video. Hopefully, I didn't see any comments being like, Graham, why are you promoting another channel? Are they paying you? None of that shit. You guys, I think, can tell by my tone of this video that this is so important to me, and regardless, Slyboy is such a goated YouTuber. I would have shouted him out for free. Like I said in the last video, bro, keep doing doing amazing work. Please go check out the full video for full context. Let me know what you think of this story down in the comments below. I feel like I have to cover it because, you know, I've done the TCAP videos. I'm very, you know, motivated into getting these people feeling like they're not safe in society anymore. And they've clearly gotten to a place where they feel, you know, like they can just tout their shit online, which is crazy to me. That needs to not exist. That's happening in too many spaces and I'm sick of it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm sorry this was a very dark video to throw up, but we had to talk about it. So as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until next time, peace out.